What's good, YouTube? Or Storm here, coming at you guys with another video today. I know this is a live stream, but unfortunately I was having some technical difficulties with getting the audio working on my recording, so I wanted to do a video talking a little bit about Master Duel now that it's been out for a month, and kind of giving you guys a overview of the game if you haven't played it yet. Is it worth playing? And so on and so forth. So first thing is, like, what is Master Duel? It is a free-to-play Yu-Gi-Oh game that you can play that's now available also on mobile devices as well as consoles. So if you have a PS4, PS5, it's available through Steam as well as the Xbox as well. So it's you can play it on with the data transfer process. You can actually play it on multiple platforms. So you can play when you're at your house, you can play on your console, and then when you have to go on the go, you can play on your phone and keep your progress. It's a pretty neat feature, the fact that you can link accounts on multiple platforms, and no matter where you are, you can play Master Duel. So it's a nice inclusion for them for sure. It's one of the better features in my opinion. But first, to get started, we're going to talk a little bit about I think we're going to go ahead and start as like, well, how we're going to talk about the shop first, and we'll kind of go from there. So the main thing about the shop is that the important thing to know about the shop is that you have certain packs. You have your normal packs, which you have some that are on a time limit. I'm assuming that when these expire, we'll probably get some new packs with some new cards to replace them, along with your Master Pack. Master Pack is just some big pack that has a little bit of everything in it. So it's just, it gives you a good starting point. There's a lot of some cards that are only available in the Master Pack, but unless you want to craft them yourself. So that's important. Things like Maxi, for example, is only in the Master Pack. And then the secret packs. Now these are packs you earn by buying. You can unlock by buying packs and crafting cards. You can unlock packs, and these packs have a bit more of half the cards in each of these packs will be from a more smaller card pool. Basically, so these allow you, they give you the option. Let's say you're looking, in this case I was building Speedroids, so I crafted a Speedroid card, unlocked this pack, and this pack has cards that relate to that archetype. Typically these packs contain more than one archetype. This one doesn't, but there's tons of different secret packs to unlock. They are on a time limit, which I actually understand. It encourages people to kind of keep playing. I would prefer they were unlocked permanently, but it's not that huge of a deal. And there are these bonus packs. These XE events are from the XE Festival, which we'll talk about later. The Legacy packs, however, are pretty bad. So the biggest problem with these bonus pack cards is you can't dismantle them. With the crafting system, which I'll get into later, there's certain cards you can dismantle to make other cards. The problem with cards from these packs is you can't dismantle them. Which is, if it would be one thing if you got a bunch of garbage cards and you could dismantle them, but the fact you can't is really dumb, and I really think that's something Konami definitely needs to look at and address. You also have structure decks. This kind of gives you, and they're only 500 gems a piece, so 1,500 gems will obviously get you 3. If you've played Yu-Gi-Oh for any length of time, you need 3 structure decks, because typically a lot of the key cards are only at one-ofs in your deck. So I personally went with the Magician Pendulum. The Cypher one is recent. I took a look at the card pool, and it didn't seem really that good to me. So personally, if you're going to go with a structure deck to give you a good starting deck to start with, I would definitely go with the Pendulum structure deck. It doesn't contain some of the cards you need for the archetype, but outside of Astrograph Sorcerer and maybe Electromite, most of the cards you're gonna want for a competitive build are relatively inexpensive. So this is the one I would go with to give you a decent starting point. You also have accessories. Duel Mates are these little figures that will be on the field while you play. So you can purchase a Duel Mate for 300 gems. You have your different duel fields. These are 600 gems a piece. protectors are basically card sleeves, and then you have your icons. These are different kinds of, you can put on your profile picture, and then you have your special tabs. The Duel Pass is something I'm going to talk about separately, but I think it costs about 600 gems, which is not that much. And if you're planning on playing ranked a lot or playing an Exceed Festival, it's an easy thing to buy. It's a good chunk of gems. It gives you crafting points. And it's definitely worth it. And then you have these bundle deals. These bundle deals are honestly outside of would be the very first thing I buy, because not only do you get like a one of key card, you get a lot of packs as well. This is always the first thing I would recommend you buy with your gems, because you get those 10 packs, you get cards. You might get cards you need, or you get some cards that can then be dismantled. So it's a really good starting point. And all three of these cards are meta-relevant cards depending on what kind of deck you're playing, so definitely would recommend. Overall, I think most of the card prices on here most of the prices are pretty fair. 100 gems does not take that long to earn, and you can buy 10 packs, and the nice thing about the 10 packs is you are guaranteed a super rare, and if you don't pull an ultra in those 10 packs, if you buy another 10, they'll guarantee you your ultra. So you get a little bit, even if you don't pull well for one, they do give you a little bit of leeway, which I think is a good thing. I think this is definitely a step in the right direction, in my opinion, for Konami, and definitely, I definitely think that the card packs are relatively priced, and that the fact that if you don't get an ultra when you buy 10 packs and you get them and you buy them again, you'll get your ultra. It's a nice little inclusion to make sure you kind of get what you need. From here, I'm going to move over. I wanted to talk a little bit about the gems. So you get a lot of gems up front in solo content when you first start, as well as from these missions. Outside of Duel Pass rewards or events or some of the solo gates and solo play, missions are basically the only way to earn gems. And one thing that is an issue is that gem payouts tend to really slow down the longer you play. You have an initial, so typically with Master Duel, you're going to be able to build 1 to about 2 decks, and then you're going to hit a point where you're going to have to either buy more gems or find another way to earn gems via solo or ranked content. So it's a little bit of an issue. Now, granted, if you're willing to get your daily login bonuses and wait for get your ranked gems, eventually you could build more decks from there. But that third deck you build is going to typically be where you're going to either need to spend real money on gems, or you're going to need to just wait it out till you get enough gems to get what you want. I could see this being an issue as they add more cards, but as of now, it's not a huge deal. I mean, personally, I have spent some real money on gems. I was able to build both Magician and Endymion, and Invoke the Eldritch without spending money. So, I definitely think it could be an issue in the future, but we will see. Now we're going to be moving on to, we're going to move over to solo content next. So this is actually one of the coolest features I think they did. Not only does it contain a tutorial to teach newer players how to play, which is great, but you also get a lot of the story behind the cards in these, and most of them typically have a gate at the end of it where you can, if you bring your own deck, you're able to earn some gems, which I think is really good. It's really nice, and it definitely helps. It definitely is a good thing to have in terms of having those gems and whatnot. So it helps to gives you a way to earn more gems, and you're getting that story behind the cards, which is pretty cool. It's something that I've wanted to have for a very long time, and now that we have it, it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice to actually have. I really do appreciate Konami adding it. It's a really nice feature in my opinion. Now, and there's a ton of content here. They've actually recently added a light sworn gate at the end as well, and there's a pretty significant amount of content here, and they've already added more. So if you're not as interested as hopping into ranked games and dealing, you've got a decent chunk of content here. But I really think though this game, you can play solo and still have fun. But once you complete that content, you're probably going to have to go into ranked. Before we go into ranked, though, we'll go into the deck builder because I want to talk a little bit about the crafting system. So we're going to move on to just pick this deck for now. So when you go, the biggest thing that changes Master Duel is, so every card in Master Duel has 3 ranks. Has one of 4 rarities. It's either normal, rare, super, or ultra. And from there, there's, I believe, 3 rarities of cards. There's regular rarity, there's like a glossy finish, and then like a parallel rare. And depending on which rarity they are, you'll get a certain amount of points when you dismantle them. If you dismantle a regular rarity, it's 10 points. If you dismantle it's 15 for the glossy finish and 30 for the parallel rare. So it's a pretty nice system. It basically fixes the biggest problem you could have with the game, which is that it could be an issue for specifically for your crafting purposes. But you don't have to go out of your way to pull what you want, which is great in my opinion. And it's pretty easy. And like I said, if you generate a card, you'll usually unlock the pack related to that card as you craft it. So it gives you a way you can craft a card to unlock the pack you need to unlock more stuff, which is pretty cool. I think it's a good addition, and definitely the game would not be very good without the crafting system. It really does fix a big problem. It fixes one of the bigger issues with a game like Duel Links, for example. Now we are for the last little bit, we're going to move into ranked. So right now they have this Xseed Festival event, and one thing I wanted to briefly touch on is that when it first came out, we had these people were playing suicide decks basically to earn medals fast, but Konami's kind of already addressed that, and they've increased the medal count for winning games, which fixes that problem. And now it's actually in a lot better state now. Now people are still playing suicide decks, but people aren't nearly as encouraged to play them. It does have a custom ban list, which in the description I'll have John Moore's video on that ban list. But it does have a special ban list for this particular format. On top of the one we already have, which I'm going to get to in a moment. But you can earn a pretty decent chunk of rewards doing this. Now, this has the same problem I mentioned earlier, is that it's very front-loaded. You get a lot of gems in the initial couple rewards, and then it really slows down. I think that's partially to discourage people from front-loading it. I actually prefer, because it means you don't have to necessarily grind out to the end. But part of me does think it would be better in the reverse, personally. But I understand why they're doing it. They want to front load it so you get those gems up front. And then we have ranked. So ranked has, as you climb the tiers in ranked, there is bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. And obviously, as you climb the tiers, you're going to run into better decks. When the season finishes, you'll be D-ranked, and unfortunately at the end of last season you didn't get your gems unless you D-ranked yourself, which meant that but the next season, I'm assuming, so you'll get a bunch of gems and you go back down, rank down in the following season. So that's also nice as well. So you get rewarded you get gems as you rank up, but you also get gems when the new season starts, which is pretty nice. As far as the ban list, which the main ban list I wanted to talk about so this ban list is primarily based on the April 2021 OCG ban list. So a majority of the cards that are on that ban list are also on this ban list. So it means things like Max Fee are at 3, Vanities is at 1, Skill Drain is at Imperial Order is still legal. DSD is still legal. It's not the most fun format. I will say that there are some issues I feel like they're probably going to address in following lists, but now it's obviously still a problem. It's something that they need to look at. Set rotation is like one of the exceptions that's not banned on that OCG ban list, as far as I'm aware. But everything else is here. So Dragoon, obviously it's not banned in CCG, but it's banned in Master Duel. The other important thing I wanted to mention is that there's the game is not completely up to date on certain card packs. Things like Burst of Destiny are not here, so things like Sword Soul, DPE are not in the game yet. Obviously, it's very likely that at some point they will be, but that's something to think about as well. So, in my opinion, it having its own little custom ban list, I think is a good thing, because it's always going to be a little bit behind on the card pool. I think just the way it's designed, they're never going to be totally caught up with both formats. So, I think it's a good thing. There's obviously some things I would change. Things like calamities need to be, insanities need to be banned. Imperial Order. The semi-limit section needs to be emptied. You guys know how I feel about that. Most of this stuff has no business being here. But overall, if I had to summarize my thoughts on Master Duel, there's a few issues here and there. I think that there are some issues. It is definitely encourages people to spend money. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with that, but I can see why someone would probably have an issue with that. And it's something, but I think the gem payout and the dismantling system kind of like alleviate a lot of those issues. And overall, I'd say it's a pretty good game if you're into Yugioh or I would recommend playing it. It's pretty fun. There are obviously some issues, but Konami's actually been really on the ball with fixing some of these issues. Like, for example, we'll go to the notification tab. They've already addressed the fact that people are playing decks to lose on purpose, so they can earn medals quicker. They've already addressed this, which is a good thing. Like, this was what they're keeping the game up to date. They're fixing issues immediately rather than waiting. This is a step in the right direction. They've also added more solo content already. The game's only been out like about a month, so that's also great. I think that they're hitting all the right buttons. Just with a few tweaks and a more updated ban list, I think it would totally fix any issues this game has. But that being said, I think we're about coming to the end of the video today. I do appreciate you guys for watching the video today. As far as content coming, I do have Mass Effect videos are going to be my main project. I may not have an upload for the next couple weeks because I'm going to break down and get that done. I'm hoping with the first Mass Effect video, because it's going to be a 6-part series. The first one, I'm hoping, crossing my fingers, it'll be ready by March 6th. And then I'm hoping to release one every single week after that. No guarantees, but I still need to get a lot of the footage, but the script is done, and I'll probably have a preview up sometime next week. So I'm glad anyway guys, I'd like to thank all y'all for watching. So Warstorm, signing out.